So we just got kind of an insane report from Mark Gurman that he's actually spoken to people who have been using the iPhone Ultra or the iPhone Fold, whatever Apple's going to call it, and this report's a little bit different because we've gotten a ton of leaks and rumors on the hardware, right? We know the display sizes, we know the camera situation, we know the chipset, we probably even know the battery capacity already, but we still have no idea how Apple's going to sell this and what use cases this iPhone Fold is going to be beneficial for. And we already have some answers that we definitely got to talk about. And as somebody who's been using the Z Fold 8, a lot of what people are saying mimics my experience with this form factor. So let's break down everything that we need to know with the iPhone Ultra and what those use cases and experiences have been like. But now, if you guys do enjoy videos like this one where we cover all things iPhone, consider subscribing to the channel. Help us get to 1 million subscribers by the end of the year because we're going to be covering a lot of iPhone content come September. But let's get into it. Okay, so there's 4 different kind of use cases and reports of people actually talking about how they've used the iPhone Ultra already and what some of those use cases are. The first one is that it's extremely pocketable compared to slab phones that Apple currently sells, especially if you compare it to the iPhone Pro Max lineup. Those phones are actually giant phones. This is the first year that I actually went with the regular iPhone 17 Pro size because I thought the iPhone 17 Pro Max was, again, a little bit too big, not only in the hand, but in the pocket as well as the weight of it all and things like that, now that Apple moved away from titanium. So the pocketable size does make sense, especially when I've been using the Fold 8 over here, the Z Fold 8 by Samsung. It fits a lot more comfortably in the pocket. It's still relatively thin even when folded shut, and of course when it is opened up, it's extremely thin to hold in the hand. So it does make sense that it fits in the pocket much easier and just much more naturally, versus I know that a lot of people like to wear maybe some tighter pants or some tighter jeans or things with smaller pockets. Those iPhones sometimes stick out of your pocket, so the fact that this one's going to be a little bit more pocketable does actually help out. And again, the people that have used, especially the outer display, commend Apple for going with a more squatted down design and a smaller outer display versus trying to mimic what the size of a normal iPhone is on the outside, very similar to what Google has done with their Pixel Fold, where it makes it look like it's a regular Pixel on the front because of the aspect ratio, and then you open it up to a square display. This kind of squatted down one makes it a little easier to use in the hand, especially when you're using it one-handed. The second thing that testers reported on was the hinge. They were absolutely in love with the hinge mechanism and how confident-inducing it was, which again is expected, right? Apple has been known to really hone in, especially on design and mechanical features when it comes to iPhones. Or, for instance, a great example is the stand on the studio display, just over-engineered to the 10th degree because Apple is always known for doing that to make the user experience as good as possible. So I'm sure this hinge that's inside the iPhone Ultra is going to be super over-engineered to make sure that the experience is as premium as possible, especially on a phone that's expected to be around $2,500. So again, it remains yet to be seen. There was no reports on what type of hinge it is in terms of what technology they're using, what mechanisms they're using, and whether or not it's going to let you use this in kind of this laptop style design. For instance, the Fold 8, actually, after you reach a certain angle, it's going to just kind of pry itself open all the way. So I'm curious to see how Apple decides on how much of an angle you're going to be allowed to use the iPhone Fold in when you are maybe in a laptop style mode, or if you want to kind of prop it up to use it in tripod mode, which I know the Z Fold 8 Ultra actually allows you to have a lot more leeway with where the hinge stops and starts, versus the Z Fold kind of makes you open it all the way, and once you pass that 90-degree angle, or honestly once you pass maybe 60 degrees, it's going to kind of unfold itself like that. The third thing that a tester mentioned was going to be the iPad-like layouts of the applications on the inner display. Now, there's a lot to infer about this because, again, they did mention that they really like that layout, but I'm not sure if they're talking about just one single application that's laid out in an iPad app format. So you kind of have the side column in different rows and just ability to see more content and more text. Or are they referring to multitasking? Or are they referring to floating windows? Or are they referring to iPadOS 27 being on the inner display? These are all things that, again, are left up to inference in terms of this quote being, again, that the iPad-like app layouts, they do like them. I do think that they're referencing more so just the individual app layout for one single application in iPad style, but I'm sure Apple's going to give us some form of multitasking. It remains yet to be seen. Is it just going to be split view, two apps side by side that split right down the middle? Are you going to be able to resize them at all? Will we have floating windows? Do we even want floating windows, right? Because even the iPad mini with its smaller 8.3 display does allow for the new iPadOS 26 and iPadOS 27 multitasking with the floating windows. But the display on this one's going to be even smaller than that, around 7.6 to 7.8 inches. And at that screen size, real estate is limited, so I don't know if it's going to be really beneficial to have floating windows unless we get some sort of DeX mode with the iPhone Fold. But let's see exactly what this ends up playing out to be. But one thing to note here is that because Apple is the end-all be-all in terms of iPad applications and the iPad ecosystem, and when it comes to tablet-style apps, they're going to be always optimized for the iPad because developers just prefer to optimize for that platform. We know that these apps are going to work amazingly on the inner display. So immediately we're going to have millions of apps available, millions of apps that are optimized for that inner display. I'm sure they're going to have to tweak it a little bit for the different aspect ratios and things like that, but it's going to work amazingly. And then the last piece here, which is going to be a kind of an obvious statement, is that this is going to be a 2-in-1, right? Where the front experience is going to be an iPhone prioritized experience, and then the inner experience is going to be more so of like an iPad mini. And again, that's probably why it's going to be the price that it is, because it's supposed to replace 2 different devices. Albeit, you can still buy an iPhone and an iPad for cheaper than what this iPhone Fold is going to cost, and probably get a better experience on each of them overall, but there's something nice about having just one device to be able to do 2 things and do it exceptionally well. So let's see exactly how this ends up breaking down, and what's good about this is that we've had years of experience with the iPad and iOS ecosystem, so there's going to be no real learning curve. After you're maybe the first day or so of kind of learning to see how you're going to use this new form factor and what behaviors are going to be used every single day, the app experiences are just going to be the best experiences on the outer display and the inner display. Now, let's see exactly how it works with like short form content. I know there's a lot of viewers of short form content, and that's usually filmed in 9:16. And the aspect ratio of the outer display is wider than that, so we might get some bars here and there. But I'm sure different developers, now that iPhone is kind of jumping in here, will optimize for that and figure out some way to really maximize the entire screen real estate. And who knows, maybe people will start recording vertical content in more of a squashed down 10:16 type of aspect ratio. Another thing that was mentioned is that people are loving the iPhone Fold for the camera viewfinder aspect. That's one thing that really jumped out at me with the Z Fold 8, or any foldable for that matter. When you do use the inner display as a viewfinder, you get a lot more to actually physically see, so it's easier to frame things, it's easier to view what's in the image. Versus on the smaller slab phones, yes, it's still a viewfinder nonetheless, and the amount of information is going to be the same that you can see, but something about having a larger footprint of a display with the viewfinder does help out. And then of course you can use the viewfinder on the outer display as well when using the main sensors on the rear of the actual iPhone Fold. A couple compromises are going to be made with the iPhone Ultra though. Of course, we know the camera situation. We're not sure which kind of megapixel counts we're going to have, but we're probably going to have the same main shooter, but it's going to be the secondary camera is going to be an ultra wide shot. So no telephoto on this ultra expensive iPhone. And that's a little bit unfortunate because I personally prefer the telephoto lens on my iPhone 17 Pro than the ultra wide one, but let's see exactly how that breaks down. And then secondly, it looks like we're going to get Touch ID instead of Face ID. I'm not really sure why Apple is doing this. I'm not a big fan of Touch ID to begin with. Touch ID or fingerprint unlock on the Z Fold 8 has been fine, but I tend to use their face unlock, which just uses kind of an optical sensor. But I do wish they added Face ID on the Ultra iPhone. So again, this is huge news because this really just solidifies and shows concrete evidence that yes, this iPhone Ultra is coming in September, or at least being announced in September. We're not sure when the actual release date will be, and we do think this is going to be a staggered release. So the iPhone 18 Pro and Pro Max will release at a normal schedule, and then maybe 3 weeks to a month down the line is when the Fold Ultra does actually come into play. So let me know in the comment down below. Are these kind of quotes and experiences changing your mind a little bit? Is this what you expected out of the iPhone? What's your biggest concern in terms of the compromises that are being made? Is it durability? Is it the poor camera situation? Is it Touch ID versus Face ID? Or is it just the price? Is that the biggest question mark of the iPhone Fold for right now? But always curious to know your thoughts. If you did make it to the end, leave a little dolphin. And if you guys want to watch more videos like this one, get subscribed and watch one of these because we're going to be covering a lot of iPhone content coming up. But that'll do it. Peace, everyone.